The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And what do we have? Another excellent presentation of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. As always, we like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Well, we have a market that, manic, depressive, maybe the best way I can explain it. We're up 4 points on the S&P cash, 1.9 billion shares, but we'd gone to 2450, rejected it, kind of came back down, and now we're at the decision point of trying to figure out what this market's going to do. Volume's fairly good, but it was mostly good on the downside. Of course, there was some monster volume on Friday in the last 5 minutes of the day. Man, it was up, 40% from Thursday in one day, and all of that in the last 5 minutes for the Russell rebalancing. I was wondering what we were going to see today in the way of follow-through. There just isn't much out here. Everybody's looking for some catalyst to move the market yet a little higher. We talked about going short this market when you started to see a lot of stocks try to go higher and fail intraday. And we'll look at a couple more out here that I saw. But got many of these stocks out here that once again pushed to some kind of lofty level where they could not stay. Their wings melted, they being far too close to the sun, and came back and fell to earth. Actually fell in the water, if you remember the what was it? A tail? I guess it was a tail. Wasn't a proverb. I'm going to just call it a tail. Anyway, if you have anything to talk about, give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can always post a message in the den. The wings melted upon the approach to Phoenix. Well, I think we know about that. And you can't take planes off there. It's so darn hot. But people love it down there. The hotter, the better. I know one of the things that no one's talking about now. How about this? Your Tesla won't run. Does anybody know about that? No, because no one wants to talk about it. That's the batteries get too hot in the Teslas that automatically shut off. And it's about this temperature. So, just figure that out. I don't think I've ever been in a car when it's been over 105 degrees outside. Can't remember being in one. But it's a dry heat, Duffy. Duffy says it's hell on earth, but it's a dry heat down in Phoenix. That's what they always say. That's what I like to say here when it's 100 degrees and 150% humidity. I tell people it's a dry heat. And then duck because they're going to throw something at me. Anyway, as I said, we're just trying to figure out what's going on here. My guess is that this market is, we've been waiting for some of the signs of a market that just gives up from euphoria. And normally that is intraday spikes that come back and fall back to earth. We find out that there's just nothing up there. They spend a little time. I started adding positions, no index positions yet, but it looked good enough for me to start chumming in the waters a bit. Actually, I added mini positions today, and normally I would probably have waited till Friday, but just saw too many stocks out here. We'll go through a few of those today. And as always, we like to start off with a little bit of history.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
Everybody's a comedian. What do we got going on today? In 1956, on this day of our Lord, in 1956, the U.S. Congress approves the Federal Highway Act, which allocates more than $30 billion for the construction of some 41,000 miles of interstate highway. It will be the largest public construction project in U.S. history to that date. The Senate approved the final version of the vote by 89-1. I'm wondering where the other 10 were. Were they out drunk? This is 1956. You got to figure at least 10% of all the senators had to be smashed at any one time back then. Just probably was probably the law, right? Be just up to your gills in alcohol. Don't know it. The one didn't like the tax rate from 2 cents to 3 cents a gallon, and he voted against it. The other 89 for it. Senator Russell Long, who opposed the gas increase, cast the single no vote that same day. House approved the bill by voice vote, and 3 days later, Eisenhower signed it into law. It was really Eisenhower that pushed the interstate law after being in Germany. And, once he got kind of fairly into Germany, just saw how great the Autobahns were to drive his tanks all the way into the capital of Berlin. And other than that, he just thought that we should have it too, especially in the Cold War. Would make it a lot easier to get people around the country in case of any nuclear attack. Back in 1956, we figured that probably half the United States at one point would have been irradiated for 2,000 years with radiation, and therefore we probably needed to be able to get and move half the country to the other half of the country at any one time. Never really happened that way, but we now have highways that will take tanks and anything under 14 feet tall, all based on the spec on this day in 1956 in that bill. And it's been a godsend for many to have it. And, of course, destroyed things like Route 66 and other coastal roads. But it was probably for the better on this day. In 1956, the Interstate Road Act starts. Okay, so we're looking at here, we're at 2441.5 points. Volume has been fairly good since we started to sell off. Volume was good for about the first 15, 20 minutes. I suspect that may be kind of a counter move to what we saw in the Russell. But after that, started seeing a lot of stocks go sharply higher and then sharply back to where they had hence started. So that's exactly what we were looking at. I guess it's time to start looking at some charts. There were some out here that are just kind of ridiculous, and you could tell, but we will continue keeping an eye out here. A good example of that is Expedia. This thing's been moving higher. And you got 922,000 shares compared to 1.6 million shares on Friday. So we'll keep an eye on this. But a lot of these look like they've reversed in a hurry. And you're going to have lighter volumes at the highs on some of these, and then volume maybe picking up the next couple of days. We'll talk about why we might be seeing some selling out here when we come back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're up 2.8 points on the S&P cash, 2441. And just getting ready to click over 2 billion shares on the NYSE consolidated tape. We were talking about Apple, and this is kind of doing the same thing it did before it fell apart before. That is that I think this thing went back up to take a look at this gap down from the 12th. You had 72 million shares, 35 million, 35 million on Friday, just 18 million shares today. But this is normally what you get out here. Another close back down here. My thought is that eventually, probably through the summer, you could see this thing move back down to 125. And the reason that there may be some other reasons too, but I read some articles this weekend and it never really said why. But Italians are trying to outlaw iPhones, and they were going to put them all in a circle and burn them. Not exactly sure why they want to do it. The articles never did. Just said that they want to ban them. Didn't say why. Didn't say why they wanted to burn the iPhones. But apparently people in Italy not too happy with iPhones for some reason. I'll have to track down that a little bit more as the week progresses. I don't know if it's a big thing, but interesting nonetheless. Okay, so what else do we have going on out here? We looked at that. Did we look at Expedia already? I think I put that up. What else do we have out here? A few others out here. Take a quick look. I want to look at Priceline. PCLN. It's up $6 today. A little doji out here on this one, but you're basically getting back down to this heavy down day of 666,000 share. Probably should just say mark of the beast, 1,000 shares. Compared to 282,000 shares. Wanted to look at a few of these others. American Express, which is, I think, if my anecdotal evidence is anything, they may be losing a whole bunch of card holders. for some of the stuff they did. It's up on light volume today, 1.7 million shares. Yeah, you had, 3.7 million shares on Friday and even 2.3 million shares on Thursday. So we'll watch how the volume comes in at the end of the day. These are all 52-week high stocks out here. Boeing's another one that reversed today, and not so much juice so far, a little under 2 million shares compared to 4.3 million shares on Friday, 3.3 million shares on Thursday. So you're going to be, maybe get 3 billion shares. It's going to be a little less than yesterday's, but you're going to start seeing some of these kind of peak out and then get slapped back down like Apple. Baxter International, another one making a 52-week high on light volume. This is back in the trading range today. Let's see what else we have out here. Coach, another 52-week high. This one's kind of peaked out of its consolidation move today, 1.4 million shares compared to 2.3 million shares on Friday. So not a lot of juice on that one. Keep a look for that one for reversal maybe tomorrow. What else do we have? DAL. See, this one's a little bit of a spike on no volume. 15.8 million shares on Friday, 3.7 million shares today. This one went back into the trading range. Facebook, let's take a quick look at that. Another reversal out here. This one went through the June 9th high at 155.59. $155.59. That's June 9th. 35 million shares. We're into that with half the volume, 18 million shares. So that one did go to a new high by $1, and it's well back below it. So you've got kind of a sell signal, not a short signal, but a sell signal on Facebook. You'd still need to close below the 3x3 to get a sell signal. FedEx went a little higher. It's still into the wick of Friday. No juice on this one compared to Friday. You had 2.5 million shares on Friday compared to 650,000 shares so far. Let's see what else out here. GLW. Corning. This thing was trying to break out today. What's the volume look like? 3.6 million shares. You wanted 13 million shares. So this thing is above, but holding on half the volume. So keep a look at that. LABU. Again, right into this gap area. You see this on the IBB and LABU. Went to a little higher high. Juice 1.7 million shares today compared to 2.2 million shares. That one's actually a little better looking. Love, this one went a little higher today. 2 million shares compared to Friday's 5 million shares. Mobileye, this thing's getting bought out. I don't know why that matters at all. McDonald's. This one went to a higher high on Friday. Tried to get there today, reversed. No volume in this thing so far. Let's take a look at MGM. A little higher. Friday, 7.8 million shares, 3.7 million shares so far. Merck. This one is going through the 17.8 million share high from March 1st. That was $66.33. What do we have out here today? 3.6 million shares compared to that 18 million share high. Let's take a look at Micron. This one's going into the 53 million share day of June 9th, 28.8 million shares. So a little more than half right now, but did go above it. Looks like it's going to close below it. As I said, I saw a lot of these things setting up this morning and went ahead and pulled the trigger. Just seeing so many of these that looked like that they were highs and weren't going to get it. Restoration Hardware, 1.6 million shares today compared to 3.1 million shares on Friday. It's going into this resistance level that goes back a ways, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, where this thing is kind of coming down. Not a clear signal, but interesting. Sony, SNE. This had a brief higher high today on the 52-week high at $38.93. STAY, extended stay, back up to a longer resistance level. Let's take a look at this one. Okay, this goes back quite a ways, doesn't it, to a gap down on November 7th of 2014 to what we have here on the. You had a lot of volume going up on Friday, 14.2 million shares, 1.6 million shares today. Let's see what else we have out here. Get to look workday. We'll look at this one when we come back. But another test on light volume pulling back into the trading range today. This is kind of what we're looking at. We'll talk more about the 3x3 and what we're looking for in the next few days.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Trading is different than investing, but the opportunity to take advantage of short-term trends is only one if you get the direction right. Direction leveraged and inverse ETFs offer bold trades on U.S. and international stocks and bonds. Direction leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And the S&P up 3 points with and 2 billion shares, just a little over 2 billion shares on the NYSE consolidated tape, he said. The NASDAQ off 13, about 1.5 billion shares on it. So what do we have on workday? Another one up here, 104.53. 5.1 billion shares. That was on June 2nd. What do we have? We had 1.5 billion shares on Friday. Today, just 800,000 shares. This one turtled a little bit, 20 cents or so above the previous high and right back into the trading range. So a lot of people had the opportunity to bite, put the bait in the water, and everybody swam away. Win, W-Y-N-N. Take a quick look at this one. And this one went and tried to break out of its trading range of the last 5 days. Did so with how much? 800,000 shares. 1.45 million shares on Friday. Yeah, 1.8 million shares on the 19th. So not much of a movement, but it did try to break out right back into the trading range out here. You hate a couple of things, or you like a couple of things. That is sideways patterns at lows, because you know that someone's got a bid underneath there, keeping the price up at least for a while. And of course, sideways actions at highs, suspecting that a lot of people are distributing stocks. This one looks fairly interesting for that. Give me a call at 877-927-6648. My thoughts on the VIX is that it will return eventually to its historical average. This thing has been wildly depressed for a long time, and it will come back. The question is, when does it? And like any structural failure, a lot of people will try to predict exactly when it flips. You just kind of have to be there when it is. You know the bridge is going to fail. If you bend the wings on an airplane long enough, they're going to snap. The question is, just where is that last blade of grass that breaks the proverbial back of the camel? And sometimes it happens sooner, and sometimes it happens later than you think it would. Take a quick look at Xerox. A lot of discussion in the den here about Illinois going to the junk status of Cuba and Venezuela. Just surprising no one else has figured it out. I guess if you spend money you don't have, eventually that happens. Let's go to some other stocks out here in my list of stuff. Where are they at? There they are. Okay. That's the one I think I wanted to be looking at. Take a look at a few out here in my list. JCOM Global was interested in this one testing the highs today. May 5th, $91.10 with 450,000 shares. We're into that with 150,000 shares so far. So that one's probably going to come up light. That's JCOM. Let's take a quick look at CLAC. Yeah, nothing in that one. Take a look at Click. And both of these have already failed. Looked at MGM. What else did we want to look at? NTES, which is NetEase. This one's close to a pattern that I haven't heard anybody talk about for a while. Actually, the candles tend to be a little longer, but this one's awful close. It gets a little lower close out here. These tend to be known as railroad tracks. That is a equal candle up and down of some significance. I would have liked to seen these things a little bit bigger to get that pattern, but this certainly looks like it went to a higher high. Volume's a little lighter, but normally you get equal up and equal down as a fairly decent signal of a reversal. So you can take a look at that. What else do we have out? Pizza. PZZA. Why is this one out here? Okay, this one is trying to go through this April 20th low. Looks like it certainly had the volume to do so on the 19th with 1 million shares. It's not all that bad. Pizza may be a good bet out here. I wanted to look at soda. That thing had been on a run. No real signal in that one. Okay. Let's take a look at Pandora. There's a lot of news out here in this one. I don't understand it, though. No one has made money in this business at all. There was rumors last week that Tesla was going to get into the music business. No one's made a dime. The last person to make any money in this business was Apple, and it wasn't selling any of the music. That was always a loser for the most part, too. It made no difference to their bottom line. It was a drop in the ocean of what they made on iPhones. But we know that everybody else in the streaming music business has gone broke slowly. It's about as good a business as being in the airlines before the last 5 or 6 years. It spent 40 years in the wilderness of going broke, bankrupt, forming new businesses, and going bankrupt yet again. This didn't make it. It did make it into the candle of June 9th that had 62 million shares. Did so today with 17.5 million shares. The CEO's leaving. It might as well just be a revolving door. None of these companies make any money. I don't and haven't heard anybody tell me how these companies are ever going to make any money. But everybody keeps stampeding to the door of this huge untapped market in music if they just got it right. I don't understand because no one's gotten it right yet. Chances are probably not very good that anybody's going to get it right in the near future. Let's take a quick look at IBM. Actually, it's up better than most. 1.3 million shares compared to the 3.3 million shares on Friday, and even 2.4 million shares on Thursday. So it's up on lighter volume. I think that one is got more pain to come. What else do we have out here? Let's take a quick look at Microsoft MSFT and see how this guy's doing today. Okay, so it broke the last two, the Friday high and the June 14th high. 7110 had 25 million shares. On Friday, got into 27 million shares. Today, 11.8 million shares. You go to a newer high and get into that candle of the 9th that had 49 million shares. So 49 million shares, and we're into it with 11.9 million shares, let's call it. So that's kind of the real problem out here. We are now bucking up against a lot of high volume from that 9th day down that everything hit. 2.1 billion shares. So it looks like we're probably going to get into that candle day with very much lighter volume. A lot of these stocks, pretty good position. You just look at the high of the day today as your stop for most of these stocks. We will be back.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile-based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we're looking at Microsoft. You know, just not much of a juice out here in this one today. Didn't talk about it because it happened late on Friday, but they kind of lost all the crown jewels over the weekend. Or it's probably actually last week. It just got reported over the weekend. That is all the source code for Windows and Windows Server and everything. Well, it was hacked. They lost it all. Someone's got it now, and it's circling around the internet. Probably the only good news is it's like 22 terabytes of data. So it's not like something someone's going to download for a lark. You're going to have to do that. But I would imagine nation states like China, Russia, everybody else is going to be able to take a good look at it. And especially if you're a very committed hacker, maybe you download all that eventually and compile your own version of Windows, maybe? Hard to tell. I don't know if it's going to do them any good. There's a lot of different things you got to do to compile them. There's some keys that they won't have access to. But if you wondered how anything worked, you're going to be able to go directly to the source code and see how it does, which is kind of going to be interesting for especially other countries that don't like how America may put pressure on Microsoft to let backdoors in. Microsoft also in the news with the Supreme Court. It may come I think, I have to look at the article again. I think that decision may come today with Microsoft. It's about Ireland and whether or not the U.S. actually owns data on U.S. companies' servers if they're in another country. This thing's been debated for quite a while, and looking for some answers in that. Probably today or tomorrow. That may get a little bit of movement under Microsoft if they start having problems. I don't think the Supreme Court is going to try to say that our laws actually can be enforced in Ireland. You get weirder things. I don't think that there's any basis that they're going to get into because every other country could say the same thing. They can enforce their laws in this country. What a mess that would be. So I don't see a lot in that. But we don't know. Bank rate. Well, everybody apparently thinks interest rates are going higher, including people buying rate, R-A-T-E. A little higher out here today, 500,000 shares compared to 700,000 shares on Friday and 800,000 shares on Thursday. But it has kind of broken out. Volume is not all that exciting. You wanted 1 million shares from May 5th. That spike. You got 700,000. So There are a lot of these stocks that look like they could have some stuff. So check my email here. Okay, what do I think about gold? I don't know. I mean, it really hasn't done anything since it got whacked this morning, has it? I haven't looked at it last time. 1244 I still see. So, okay. Nothing really under this. It's under the 3x3. Man, I think you still would love to see this 115.56 tested before you wanted to play any of the gold or gold miners. I don't understand. I'm a big fan of buying highs and lows, selling highs, buying lows, that is. I just don't see anything. It seems too close to this 115.56. I'd want it to come a lot closer to that before I pick a position on it. See if there was anything else on here we looked at. NFLX. Again, you can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, Netflix kind of into the same thing here. That is that it's into this down day of the 9th with 10.3 million shares. Today we got 4.8 million shares so far. So he had 6.2 million shares on Friday. So you're kind of coming in there with about half the volume. This is probably I know it's a highly shorted stock. So this thing may have, 162, 163 in it. Even with light volume, it still may be able to go higher on a squeeze. We looked at Apple already. What else did we want to look at? See anything? BBY. Take a quick look at that. Best buy. What do we got? Okay, it's up a little. This is actually one of the better chart patterns out here. I would have loved this. Probably would have bought it no matter what the market was doing if this would have been in September. Gapped up on May 25th, did so with 33.3, 33 and a third, 33 million shares on the 25th of May. Came back, touched this gap, kind of based out. Did bounce today with 2.3 million shares. My guess is you're going to get a couple more bounces. Ideally, this thing would be a buy at around 52.50 if everything continues to go north. Okay, see if there's anything else out here. Take a quick look at THC. Looking at these medical stocks a little bit. 17 million shares on May 2nd for THC. Got into that with 10 million shares on Friday. This thing's up a little on 1.8 million shares today. So again, kind of light volume in a lot of these. Very tough to figure out exactly what's going on. We're up almost 4 points on the S&P cash. Volume still looks, let's see if this is broken. Volume has stopped if it hasn't. If it's, yeah, 2.15 billion shares. So volume has gone very light in the last 15, 20 minutes. Not much going on here. So let's take a look at a few other ones. Take a look at U.S. Steel. Again, you can email me at path@tfnn.com. Don't see anything in this, Jerry. He wanted me to look at. Do I have any opinion on palladium? The answer is no. Okay, other than it works very well in atomic bombs. Observe. Okay. Yeah, I always thought THC should have been marijuana, but it's had that ticker 10 years ago. Okay, so U.S. Steel, $22.74 back on June 12th, 47.5 million shares. Kind of got into that on Friday with 23.8 million shares. Today with 19.8 million shares so far. But a reversal out here in U.S. Steel, too. This looks like it's just bouncing around between that 1975 low of June 2015. Okay. Let's see what else we have out here. I haven't looked at this one. PRNA in a while. PR, right? PNRA. PNRA, he wrote. Okay. Let's take a look at this in a different way. Oh, we're going to break. We'll look at the Panera again now. Okay. Just kind of hanging around. We'll be back in a minute.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Well, we're up to the last segment out here. And again, I think there's a couple of things going on this week, but part of it is we're seeing a bit of cash raising. It's going to be a big IPO probably on Thursday, and it's going to be a big one. And I think we're probably seeing a bit of selling to raise funds. You've got to be 3 days ahead of it to get your cash out. I think today is one of the first days of selling to do so. But I think it may be enough to actually start moving the market down. In that a lot of people are figuring out that there isn't just so much cash laying around that they're going to stick it in this. They're actually trying to find a faster horse to go into, thinking that at least it may be better supported as an IPO on Thursday than a lot of these stocks where there's already been a great deal of money already made. So I continue to look at a lot of these things out here that look like they spiked today and are kind of giving it up. And we'll continue keeping an eye on it. Okay, so what else do we have? We're looking at Tesla. Did I talk about that already? Can't remember if I did or not. Losing my mind. Anyway, Tesla tried to go, what was the high? 386.95. So about 40 cents into short of Friday's high that had almost 13 million shares. It's got about 5.6 million shares. Tried to go higher, kind of turned right around. One more tick and a close below that 3x3 would probably be the time to start singing Good Night or Irene. TPX. Watching this one. This, of course, fell apart on earnings. It's back up into this double gap. I love these double gaps for knowing that you can take very tight stops. This thing, about 54 is about all the heat you want to take on this. Above that, maybe it goes to 58. But if this market would turn around out here, this looks fairly brittle for the betting companies. A lot of these things, it did fall apart on last earnings. Came down with 26.5 million shares. Back up today with 1 million shares into that gap. And you basically had a double gap sitting out here already. These stocks like to come back to them. It's all going to be about the close. My guess is we're going to see additional selling today and maybe throughout the week to raise cash for one of the biggest IPOs of probably going to be this year. So we'll see. Let's see what else we have out here. Take a few looks at some other ones. Take a quick energy real quick, XLE, see if we have anything out here. Want XLE to come back down to the $62.88 low. That's 21, let's call it 22 million shares, excuse me. June 27th, 62.88, 22 million shares. We had 27 million shares on June 21st. Just too much juice that close. I suspect we're still going to see that $62.88 low tested on natural or on crude. What do we have? Up 36 cents. Natural gas up 9 cents, 10 cents. It looks like this $3 area is kind of a magnet right now for natural gas. Again, come about the first week of August, I think, is when you want to look at natural gas again, and maybe this thing will turn. Baker Hughes had kind of interesting to see crude up even a little today. The Baker Hughes numbers on Friday still show far too much in the way of supply coming on. So this could be yet another big move down. We'll look at it tomorrow. As always, sow when you can, not when you have to. And we will see you here, bright, shiny, on Bright Shiny Tuesday. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.